Hey, what's going on guys? Oscarmini here, and here's my comparison video between the TECNO Pouvoir 4 and the TECNO Pouvoir 4 Pro. Now, if you want a straight to the point comparison and telling you the differences between these two smartphones, the TECNO Pouvoir 4 Pro is basically the TECNO Pouvoir 4 with a better camera system, a faster charger, and better processing speed, about 1.9 times faster on paper. But if you are one of those who want to watch the camera comparison and speed test without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. First things first, when getting a smartphone, you'd obviously have to unbox. The experience for the Pouvoir 4 and the 4 Pro are basically the same. Although the box for the Pro seems bigger, you pretty much get the same items within the box, except for the 18-watt fast charger from the Pouvoir 4 Pro, as opposed to the 10-watt charger you get when you unbox the regular 4. In terms of the build and design, these devices are practically the same build quality, button port placement are the same. The left side of both have the same tray and Google Assistant buttons, while the right side has the volume rocker and the power buttons. So either way, you're going to get the same experience when taking the form factor and size into consideration. Speaking of the size, these devices are actually enormous for a one-handed use. The display for both are 7-inch LCD panels with a resolution of 720p, 20.5 by 9 aspect ratio, and 480 nits of brightness. As far as I can tell, there is no difference in the colors coming off these displays. Even at 720p for a 7-inch panel, media consumption is very much okay. Coupled with the fact that you get a stereo speaker configuration here, these displays are quite usable under the sun. Performance is one aspect where the Pouvoir 4 Pro takes the lead. Things begin to go south for the regular Pouvoir 4 for the fact that it comes bundled with the Helio A22 chipset, which is a quad-core processor, while the 4 Pro has the P22 octa-core chipset with better clock speed and multitasking capability. Speaking of multitasking, the Pro has 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage, allowing it to have more apps in memory, while the regular 4 has 3GB of RAM and 32GB of internal storage. Here is a side-by-side speed test between the Pouvoir 4 and the Pouvoir 4 Pro. So all in all, the Pouvoir 4 Pro is a faster device to own. As far as battery, I didn't really notice any difference on these devices. Both have 6000 mAh battery, but the major thing I noticed here is the fact that you get a better processing speed on the Pro. You tend to run more apps in the background and perform more tasking activities, which eventually lead to about a 1-hour difference in favor to the Pouvoir 4. Otherwise, these two devices would really last you a full 2-day use on a single charge. Another major point to take note of is, you get a 10-watt charger to charge a Pouvoir 4 up from 0 to 100% in almost 4 hours, a little over 3.5 hours, while the Pouvoir 4 Pro comes packaged with an 18-watt charger, which charges up the device from 0 to 100 in about 2 hours 30 minutes from my tests. So I would give it to the Pouvoir 4 Pro in terms of battery as a result of the faster charging put into consideration here. Talking about the cameras here, first off, you get a quad camera setup at the rear of both of these devices, with the Pro having a 16-megapixel main lens, 5-megapixel ultra-wide, 2-megapixel depth sensor, and a QVGA, while the regular one has a 13-megapixel main lens, 2-megapixel for the macro, 2-megapixel depth sensor, and also a QVGA lens. You are definitely missing out on an ultra-wide if you get the regular Pouvoir 4 and also better details in the photo from the Pro. As can be seen in the following pictures, there is more detail, especially when you crop in from the Pouvoir 4 Pro. Color temperature most times stay warmer on the Pouvoir 4, although there are times it tends to flip, as also seen from the photos. And something about the Pouvoir 4 Pro gets to give you better details which you might lose in dark areas of photos, making the Pouvoir 4 Pro's rear cameras generally better. When you flip to the front of the 4 Pro, you get a 16-megapixel lens as opposed to the 8-megapixel from the Pouvoir 4 itself. Now, you do not really get to see a way better photo here, but then again, there is better detail in the images from the Pro. When it comes to portrait, the Pouvoir 4 Pro does a better job at the edge detection, and there's something about the Pouvoir 4 that gave my hair different color patches. Videos on both are capped at 1080p, better camera from the 4 Pro, but not by miles when video is considered. Now, when we talk about the pricing, it's all about perceived value. You can get the Pouvoir 4 for 55,000 naira right now, while the Pouvoir 4 Pro goes for 65,000 naira. A 10,000 naira or $25 difference in price determines if you get a faster processor with quick charge and more memory or not. I personally think the extra box is actually worth the investment. So as far as this comparison, the TECNO Pouvoir 4 Pro is definitely a better buy, and that's even for the extra 10,000 naira or $25. It beats the regular device in speed, storage, faster charging, and also the camera department. If you are in a situation to pick between these devices, the Pouvoir 4 Pro is a better buy, and the reason is called the Pro after all. And that's been it for this comparison between the Pouvoir 4 and the Pouvoir 4 Pro. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, share, and also subscribe if you haven't done that already. Other than that, it's goodbye, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Cuídate.